Why smart professionals make bad decisions at work. How you work is quietly undermining the quality of every decision you make. Discover why and how to gain the decision making advantage. If you have a job, you make an average of about 35 decisions at work every single day. That number doubles to 70 if you're a leader. No matter what kind of role you currently have, though, I've got two questions for you. Number one, how many decisions do you make with everything you need right at your fingertips all the time? And number two, how many decisions are you making when you feel scattered or distracted or under pressure? Most professionals are guessing their way through the day, one decision at a time, unfortunately. And that is a costly problem for reasons most people never stop to consider. Some of these costs include, but are not limited to, rework, missed deadlines, errors that slip through the cracks, damaged trust, team drag, burnout, and lost revenue. Do any of those hit home for you? If so, here's the truth. None of this happens because you're not capable or able to do the work and do it right. It's not because you've been careless or that you lack smarts or discipline or an assistant. There's no need for a better to-do list or a better email app to help you. And by the way, tech is never the answer. And it's not that you haven't put in the time or tried hard enough. None of that is true. The problem is structural. It's the behind the scenes management of the work itself. I talked about this concept in issue number 1 of the Efficiency Edge. It's called the work behind the work. And the work is all about task management, really. Even email is task management in disguise. How you manage your tasks is paramount. But your processes today are likely pushing you backwards or keeping you stuck more than you know. So let's talk about this. Your workday is actually harder than it should be right now. Professionals regularly share their workday wishes with me and their workday woes, and they ask me questions about how to achieve what they want. Just a few include, quote, I wish I was better at systems like tracking things, end quote. Another person said, how can I stay on top of things when there are so many plates spinning and platforms and media and organizational tools and people all competing for my attention and my time and energy? Another person said, quote, I'd love to know how to protect and manage energy during the workday, especially in environments where constant notifications and meetings and shifting priorities drain focus. Here's another one, quote, how can leaders manage competing priorities without feeling like they're constantly reacting to the next urgent task? Between work and family and personal goals, maintaining focus and protecting energy has become increasingly important, end quote. Another one, I'd like a better task or to-do list. I feel like I sit down in the office and I'm like, where do I even start? And the last one, quote, how do I decide what to focus on first and stay productive without feeling overwhelmed? End quote. People tell me again and again and again that they're losing time and energy every single day, not from doing the work, but from managing the chaos around the work. And if managing the work behind the work is draining you of much needed time and energy, it's robbing you of truly being effective and productive. And that is robbing you of progress and results, as well as personal time, really. But it does something else too. It's crippling your ability to make great decisions. So let's look at why. Task scatter is affecting decisions that matter. Tasks right now, they're coming from everywhere, and they have for a long time. Notes and papers and files and other information are also in a dozen different places. Emails land in one place, yes, the inbox, but the issue becomes managing them from there. And spoiler alert, you can't manage any of them effectively while they're still sitting in the inbox. And all of this causes strain on our brain as it tries to keep up and hold it all together in real time all day long. And this causes a lot of stress when trying to get things done. When tasks are scattered everywhere, you can't see them all. And therefore, they're impossible to prioritize accurately. And when you can't prioritize accurately, it's impossible to plan action with any confidence. You don't know what you've got and how to prioritize it because you don't have a complete picture. And when you don't have a complete picture of all of your tasks and responsibilities, it's impossible to execute without that nagging feeling that something somewhere has been missed. Frustrating, right? This is one of the leading causes of anxiety and worry at work. You can't make smart decisions about what to do next or how to spend your precious time when you can't see everything that you need to manage. You're working harder than ever, of course, but you feel like you're taking two steps forward and then one step back most of the time, I'm sure. But you do need to see everything in one place. It's what makes great decisions possible. More on that in a minute. But first, let's talk about why it's impossible to make great decisions consistently right now. Let's be specific about why decision making breaks down, because it's not just one thing. Oh no, it's five things stacked on top of each other. The first is that tasks and email and information are everywhere. Multiple sources of tasks, as mentioned earlier, cause only half the challenge. The other half is caused by all the tools that everybody's grabbing for to stay afloat. Notebooks, legal pads, planners, whiteboards, sticky notes, apps, spreadsheets, Word documents, and your memory, just to name a few. And none of these talk to one another. As tech evolved and expanded over the years, you also inherited more apps and platforms that you didn't ask for, each one bringing even more tasks into your day and making it harder to keep track of everything to do. Number two, awareness is down. If you're not aware of certain tasks, or you were aware, but now they've slipped your mind, you can't prioritize or protect time or execute quickly on what needs to be done. You're missing clarity here. Number three, you're under extreme pressure to get things done. You have a long list of things to do. Some tasks have deadlines, many don't. Goals are numerous, expectations are really high, and people and projects and teams are waiting on you to get things done. And unfortunately, you're working in a workday with no real structure or boundaries anymore. Number four, you're highly distracted. Notifications, messages, and interruptions are relentless. These are never ending. These are the rings, dings, and pings in our workday. But even without all of those digital interruptions, you still have to deal with self-inflicted distractions, causing you to be reactive. Like when something on your desk catches your eye and you go down a new path because you suddenly remember something that was formerly forgotten. Distractions are tough. Number five, you have so little time. Time is so precious to begin with, but the processes you're using in your workday to keep up with email and tasks and information are holding you back. Some are broken, some are missing, and time and energy are lost because of this. Now, individually, each one of these is a real challenge, but together they form a trap that's hard to escape. With time at a premium, you wonder, how can I stop what I'm doing to figure out how to fix all of this? And here's what almost no one talks about. This combination doesn't just make your day harder. It actively damages the quality of the decisions you're making all day long. Three issues come up with regard to this, and let me explain what these are. The first one is that more pressure equals more bad decisions. Most people assume that stress and pressure can sharpen focus, like I do my best work under a deadline, right? Sound familiar? But research says otherwise. A study by Walden University showed that when stress and anxiety aren't balanced or managed well, our bodies shift into a negative stress state. And that's toxic stress, by the way, causing a decrease in blood flow and oxygen to the brain, which promotes lower cognitive functioning and sends the brain into a chaotic state. So decisions fail under pressure because our prefrontal cortex shuts down. High cortisol and adrenaline turn off rational thinking, and our brain is unable to access the information that it needs to make logical decisions and reason clearly. Combine strict deadlines with high pressure, and decision quality drops sharply. These are the exact conditions, unfortunately, that most professionals are living with every single day. Not calm, cool, and collected workdays, but chaotic, stressful workdays with a clock running. Research has consistently shown that decision-making abilities under time constraints are compromised. Here's a quote: associated stress can lead to perceptual narrowing, resulting in reduced vigilance, working memory capacity, and the utilization of available information, end quote. When stress persists, a negative cycle continues. The more decisions you have to make in a day, the more stressed and distracted and reactive you become. Then performance drops when pressure gets too high. and you'll be less effective at any given task that you undertake. And you may even stop making new decisions altogether. One study found that participants preparing for a medical exam under sustained stress tended to default to habitual decisions instead of making decisions suited to the situation that they were facing. According to the study, quote, the brain resorts to habitual decision making because it exerts less demands on our cognitive resources. So, in other words, when you're under pressure, your brain doesn't rise to the occasion. Oh no, it falls back on familiar habits, which is the easiest way out. That's not a character flaw, that's biology. And that is exactly why, when your day changes and priorities shift, it's such a challenge to pivot quickly. I get that question all the time. Leslie, what do I do when my day changes and priorities shift and I can't do my original plan? The answer is that you must be able to override your tendency to get stuck with your original decisions in order to adapt to the changes that are happening around you. And there's only one way to do that. I'll get to that in a minute. But when your entire day is fueled by pressure because tasks are everywhere and nothing is prioritized and everything feels urgent, you are, by design, making your worst decisions during the moments that matter the most. Let's talk about issue number 2. A distracted brain can't make good decisions. You already know that distractions and interruptions cost time, but most people underestimate by how much. Research from Dr. Gloria Mark at the University of California, Irvine, one of the most cited names in this field, by the way, found it takes an average of 23 minutes and 15 seconds to fully regain deep focus after a single interruption. This quote from the article is jaw-dropping. It said, quote, a company that has 55 employees with an average salary of $50,000 annually will pay $1,065,900 per year in lost productivity due to distraction. And this is a conservative estimate that only considers the direct costs of distractions, end quote. Now consider how often you're interrupted or distracted at work. Some research says every few minutes. If you do the math, you'll see that if it takes 23 minutes to recover, but a new interruption lands before that recovery is complete, your brain never really fully completes a single thought throughout the day. And that's a problem. Complete and total focus becomes mathematically impossible. So when you're highly distracted, on top of time pressures, your brain doesn't just work slower. It works with less of the information it has, even when that information is right in front of you. And that's not a recipe for making great decisions. That's a recipe for making guesses. Let's move on to number 3. Issue number 3 is that great decisions rely on great data, but not too little and not too much. There's a well-established concept in decision research called the information overload curve. As relevant information increases, decision quality improves, yes, but up to a point. Past a certain point, decision performance declines as the brain becomes overloaded and overwhelmed. So here's the thing. We all know that too much information can be overwhelming and time consuming to review, but having too little information is far more concerning when you need to make decisions. Similar to task scatter, this is called information scatter. Leaders and teams are struggling to make timely, effective decisions when information is fragmented across systems and buried in email, and we're missing entirely from view, which is a problem. McKinsey research found that employees spend on average 1.8 hours every day, and that's 9.3 hours a week, just searching for and gathering information that they need to do their jobs. Other research from IDC puts it even higher, roughly 2.5 hours a day, nearly 30% of the entire workday spent just searching rather than doing. And an article by Lomaps shares a few additional key points worth noting. Quote, teams using fragmented communication systems report a 25% drop in decision-making confidence when dealing with data from various sources. Meanwhile, organizations lose an estimated $62 million annually due to poor information management. All of these points affect decision-making because the more time you spend looking for data, the less time you have to review and assess the data and then make smart decisions as you work. Now let's return to that 30% figure that represents lost time when looking for things you know you have. Now put yourself in the middle of that search. You're under pressure. You're getting interruptions. And you're being asked to decide, prioritize this task, respond to that email, answer that question, commit to that deadline. And you're being asked to do all of that without the information you need to make the decision with confidence. Instead, you default to the easiest option, or worse, you freeze up. You're stuck in analysis paralysis, unable to move forward because you know you're missing something. But what? Either way, the decision you make is compromised before you even make it. And this is why so many capable, smart, hardworking professionals feel like they're constantly making poor decisions. You may make one today and pay for it later. Sound familiar? If so, just know your level of productivity each day is never about capability. It's about the conditions under which you're making these decisions. And here's the most important part. You can't think or will or hustle your way out of these conditions. You can't outdiscipline it. You can't outwork a structural problem. It's time to build the foundation that will support you and create better conditions for making better decisions in your workday. So here's what makes smart decisions possible. The remedy isn't found in a new app. It isn't just focus harder or work more hours. To get a grip on everything coming at you and making sure and steady progress every day, you need to be able to see all of your tasks in one place. And that means one system. If you don't have a single system to manage your work, you're operating in a workday without a foundation. But that foundation can be formed. You can fortify your workday with a system that supports you and your work seamlessly and effortlessly so you can make new decisions and change directions quickly when you need to without missing, losing, or forgetting anything. A complete system will bring tasks, email, and information and time management strategies all together in a single connected structure. Only then can you finally see everything you're responsible for in one place and be able to make smart decisions about how to spend your time. One system allows you to easily gather tasks, prioritize them accurately, and not only plan action, but take action all throughout the day, readily and steadily. When that happens, something meaningful shifts. You don't have to decide what to do next from a scattered, partial view of your work. You can decide with clarity and confidence from the whole picture. Every task, regardless of where it came from or when you're going to do it, every commitment sitting in your email inbox, and every piece of information you need right when you need it. This is possible with the 4 process pillars that I talked about in issue number 2 of the Efficiency Edge. These support your entire workday, and that includes task management, time management, email management, and information management. Those are the 4 process pillars. When just one of these is broken, or worse, missing entirely, the other 3 are compromised. These are not separate processes or problems to solve one at a time when they're not working. They all belong in one system, one connected system, working together to give you the highest levels of efficiency and productivity, plus steady progress and tangible results. Plus, a single system gives you back time, which reduces stress and pressure, which is great. You can regain time that you've been losing to searching and rechecking and re-explaining and recovering from interruptions. Time you can reinvest into doing what you were actually hired to do, the work you love to do, instead of managing the work behind the work. Now, the bottom line is this: optimal workload management will improve the quality of every decision you make. And that's how you gain what I call the workday advantage. For now, I will leave you with this question. Of the 5 conditions working against you right now, scattered tasks and email and information, low awareness, pressure, interruptions and distractions, and too little time, which one is hitting you the hardest? I read and respond to every email, so make a comment, let me know, and I'll see it. Also, if you're tired of feeling fed up and stressed out and frustrated, and you feel like you're falling behind all the time instead of getting ahead and enjoying more time in your life, please be sure to check out my proprietary system, Taskology, the Science of Getting Things Done. It is a time-tested system, a proven system that's been getting results for our clients for 23 years. Click the link and visit productiveday.com today for more information And be sure to take advantage of our free resources that are on the website. We have the Productive Day Smart Steps, we've got the quiz, we've got a bunch of different things available on the homepage. And you can get started. Get started today with creating an easier, more efficient workday and a life with less stress. Until next time, remember to make the most of your minutes, protect time for what matters, and make memories you'll cherish. Greater productivity doesn't mean packing more work into the workday. It's about getting work done from start to finish, faster and easier, so you can have more time to enjoy life. Until next time, this is Leslie Shreve signing off. Here's to your productivity and success.